Good evening to all of our participants. Thank you so much for joining us. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on the Sustainable Energy Marketplace. My name is Aleksi Lumijarvi. I work at the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, more specifically in its Renewable Energy Finance team, and have been managing the Marketplace project this year. The agenda of the webinar is as follows. After my brief introduction, we will have a presentation by Chris Sewell, who is currently working as a consultant for IRENA, helping us in implementing this marketplace. After that, we will hear a presentation by Francisco Arango from Inter-American Development Bank regarding their call for proposals. Thereafter, I will give a short online demo of the marketplace to show briefly how it works, how it looks like, etc. And in the end of the webinar, we will have a brief Q&A session where we will answer some of the questions that you hopefully will be presenting during the webinar. For those of you not familiar with IRENA, we are an intergovernmental organization that supports countries in their transition to a sustainable energy future. We promote the widespread adoption of and sustainable use of all forms of renewable energy, including bioenergy, geothermal, hydro, ocean, solar, and wind energy, in the pursuit of sustainable development, energy security, and stable climate. IRENA serves as a network hub, an advisory resource, and an authoritative unified global voice for renewable energy. IRENA has currently 144 member countries and 31 states in the process of becoming members. Partnering with IRENA in this initiative is the Inter-American Development Bank, or IDB. The IDB is historically one of the largest lending institutions in the Latin American and Caribbean energy sectors and continues to work across 26 countries in the region directly with governments, the private sector, and the civil society. For today's webinar, we have two options for listening in. You may connect by computer by selecting mic and speakers, or by phone by selecting the telephone option in the right-hand panel. If you should face any technical difficulties during the webinar, please contact the GoToWebinar help desk at the number provided on your screen. I'd like to encourage everyone to participate in today's session by asking questions. To do so, simply select the questions panel in the right-hand bar and enter your question with a note of who you would like the question directed to. We'll be collecting questions throughout the webinar and we'll answer some of them at the end of it. If you'd like to watch this webinar again or share it with a friend, we will have a full recording available on the IREL website as well as on the IRENA YouTube channel. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Chris Sewell, who will give us a presentation on the marketplace concept. Please, Chris, welcome.
All right, well, hopefully I'm showing my screen here. Welcome everybody, thank you very much. Thank you Aleksi for that kind introduction, and thanks to all of you all for coming to learn a bit about the sustainable energy marketplace that we've spent the past few months working on. As Aleksi mentioned, I'm working under contract for IRENA, and my job will be to help bring the SE marketplace to the Latin American and Caribbean region. So again, thanks for attending. We're really here because of a common interest, I would say. The platform that we're trying to present is really to help those of you that are in the field, that if you're looking for more business, if you're looking to do business more efficiently, if you're looking to find new routes for investment, this platform is intended to help you. And it's going to do it by helping you initiate projects, helping you develop those, find different providers, and and groups to help you develop the projects, as well as find financing. The platform is designed to help a range of stages, range of needs, and it's primarily going to do this by using tools that different multilaterals and partners like IRENA, the IDB have. Provide you a space to make a profile about your company, about your project, about your financial appetite and interests. It's also going to try and help actively connect those developers and financiers that are looking for opportunities, and make this a place where they can find each other. And last, it's going to help support projects that still have some development left to go, advance in those projects. Okay, this is a giant chart here with a lot of different boxes, but the purpose here is to just say what the concept is. We're trying to give one centralized place, the marketplace here in the center, that provides all the different stakeholders a way to easily work within this market and understand who is doing what, where, how. So if you look at the top, you'll see different project owners can put their projects on the marketplace. Going to the left, you have different providers. They put in a description about their abilities, and they gain leads on different work opportunities. Financiers put descriptions about what they're looking for, and they gain different leads on investment opportunities. And governments get to show the types of enabling environments and facilitation that they're providing. And all this is a way to try and attract and scale up more renewable energy and energy efficiency projects in the region, in each of the countries where this platform is working. You'll later on see from Aleksi a different demonstration of the actual marketplace and how it's functioning. But what he's basically going to show you is how to, from here on the left, register your company and submit a profile to the marketplace. That's going to go to IRENA as the administrator, and they're going to be able to review the profile that you're submitting and essentially validate. I say validating because they're not really going to validate any projects or financial instruments, but they are going to validate the existence of the company or entity that's trying to develop a profile in the marketplace. Much like what you would see if you sign up for an account with LinkedIn, for example, or Facebook or any other online system, they'll send you an email where you have to validate that you're a real person. You click on a link. It's a form of validation. IRENA is also trying to validate so that the population of profiles here within the marketplace is a strong and robust set of companies and entities that are trying to do business in the area. From there, you'll have your company profile. You'll be categorized in the different areas such as a developer, a financier, a provider, and that's where the marketplace really, the sustainable energy marketplace, really is at its core. You'll be able to see profiles. You'll be able to add project profiles for your different projects or your financial instruments, and this is where you can do your own assessment and say, see if there's someone that you want to reach out to or learn more about. There'll also be a way to try and, so through that you can link, for example, if there's a bankable project, this is where they'll connect and hopefully get the type of project financing they were looking for. There's also a place to connect and learn more about what entities have money to help develop projects. What entities can provide services that help develop projects, so that as you go below and continuing to develop your project, that project is facilitated to then eventually be presented to the type of project financing it's seeking. Again, at the core of this tool, the Sustainable Energy Marketplace, is an efficient search engine. When you put up a profile, there are parts of your profile that are public, there are parts of your profile that are private, but it's searchable so that if you're a project developer, you can find the different types of financiers that have the financial instruments that you're interested in. Vice versa, if you're trying to look for project opportunities where you can invest, This is a search engine that can help you find the types of projects, for example, searching by technology, searching by size or location. And so this is a way to make a connection and continue your work, but at its core, it's an efficient search engine. This will obviously be as good as the data that's put into it, but the different stakeholders that we see working in the region will obviously be able to provide good information and have control over that information to help make the connections that they need for their own projects. The Sustainable Energy Marketplace will also be a platform where you can easily access other tools. The first one's uploaded in this brand new version of the Marketplace platform is primarily tools by IRENA. Other tools from other partners such as the IDB and others will be uploaded as those connections are made. But you see here examples of the Global Atlas or the Project Navigator, major projects by IRENA that are powerful tools. Through the platform, the Sustainable Energy Marketplace platform, you can gain access to these tools. I just wanted to end by saying that this is really the beginning. This is the beginning of a platform that we think will be a powerful tool for those in the region trying to develop, invest in, service different renewable energy, energy efficiency, sustainable energy projects. We're going to continue to work on this platform. We have activities for put aside to help specific projects along in the development process. We have more webinars and events as tutorials and to continue spreading the word about this. And we'll be adding new content and functionalities as the site develops, or as we develop the site. We're going to ask for feedback from you from these webinars in the platform. We'll send out surveys, for example. And we'll also be analyzing the different activities of the marketplace to understand what tools are useful and what tools are needing more improvements. And there will obviously be a lot of work to continue improving the usability of the platform. So just to thank you all for attending and thank you for listening. This is the link to the global marketplace. We're finishing up the development of the regional one, so there'll be one specific URL for the Caribbean to start out, and there'll be one for Latin America. And as these become available, we'll send these to you, and as well as hold other webinars in the future. Again, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chris, for your informative presentation. And next, we will have Francisco Arango from IDB to describe and tell more about the forthcoming call for proposals by IDB. Welcome, Francisco.
Thank you, Chris, for your presentation, and thank you, Aleksi, for doing the introductions. As Aleksi said, my name is Francisco Arango. I'm a climate change specialist working for the Inter-American Development Bank from our headquarters in Washington, D.C. I am part of a team here at the IDB working in collaboration with IRENA to support their initiative on the Sustainable Energy Marketplace. I would like to start saying that here at the IDB we're very excited about this opportunity to collaborate with the IRENA. To explain why we are excited about this marketplace, let me try to put it into context. As most of you well know, this week and throughout the weekend, delegations from all over the world will be traveling to France to meet in the context of the 21st conference of the parties to the United Nations Convention on Climate Change. It seems that now it's time for a new climate change agreement. After many years of delays and disappointment, it seems that countries now are ready to agree on this new framework to help all of us to face the challenges from climate change. The new agreement will certainly require new efforts by developing country parties, including our member countries here in Latin America. Under this new framework, countries are expected to make their contributions to climate change mitigation. These contributions will mean that these countries will have to identify projects and provide financing for these projects in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The IDB, as a partner to countries in our region, is stepping up its support to contribute to meeting these contributions by countries in Latin America. A few weeks ago, the president of the bank announced that the IDB would be doubling the amount of resources that are made available in the region to finance projects on climate change. That means that over the next couple of years, the share of the resources by the bank that are related to climate change will increase to about 35%. This means that climate change will become one of the main areas of work for the IDB. In order for us to meet that huge challenge, we need access to good quality projects. Without that, we won't be able to meet our commitments, and we won't be able to support countries as it is our intention. We know that in Latin America there are many good projects out there, especially projects on renewable energy, but we need help finding them. We need all the help we can get to find those great projects out there and help us provide the financing that we are intending to provide. So here is where the role of IRENA's marketplace comes in. This is the link. This is one of the links that we need to meet those project developers producing interesting investment opportunities, and we want to work with them to bring those projects to reality. We like the marketplace for many reasons, but one of the reasons why we like the marketplace is the one that Chris showed in his slide that was at the bottom of one of his slides, and this is the component on technical assistance for project preparation. We believe that with some support from institutions like the IDB and others, good projects can become great projects. And this is where we have decided to make our first and early contribution to this initiative of the Sustainable Energy Marketplace. So this is the call of proposals that the bank is intending to launch probably next week. We have made resources available to provide technical assistance to renewable energy projects. As I said, the call will most probably be launched next week, and the intention will be to request proposals by project developers where they can identify specific needs for technical assistance that the bank could provide. That technical assistance will be directed to improve project design, to support project operation, and it can include, for example, environmental assessments, social assessments, a review of the financial studies, a review of technical and engineering studies and assessments, or support with the legal structuring of the project, including, let's say, aspects related to commercialization of the energy that the project will produce. Here, I would like to make clarification. Projects that are selected under these call for proposals will not receive, let's say, cash. The technical assistance that the bank will provide will be in the form of technical assistance that will be provided by some of the best consulting and engineering companies in the region. Those companies will be hired by the bank, and it is the time and knowledge of these consulting and engineering companies that will be made available to those project developers that are selected to receive support from the bank. Eligible projects are all those that will produce renewable energy. Those could be projects that are connected to the grid, but this could also be projects in isolated systems, so-called off-grid renewable energy projects. All technologies would be eligible. Solar energy will be eligible, wind energy, biomass. Here we have made an effort to highlight the role of biomass, and we have included energy efficient cookstove as one of the project technologies that could be eligible under this call for proposals. Since we are an intergovernmental institution, a multilateral bank, all projects that are eligible under this call for proposal should be intended to be implemented in one of IDB's borrowing member countries. We cover almost every country in Latin America and Caribbean. We have 26 member countries. We have country offices in all of those 26 borrowing member countries. The proposals should be and will be submitted through IRENA Sustainable Energy Marketplace. In a few minutes, we will see a demonstration of how to submit a project through the marketplace. The deadline for submitting the project ideas will be March 1st of next year. So project developers will have around 3 months to produce their project proposals. Again, these are projects that should be implemented in one of IDB's member countries. These should be projects that should make use of renewable energy technologies, and these projects will not receive cash, but will receive technical assistance by companies selected by the bank. Now, a short disclaimer that we need to make. Projects or project developers that are selected under this call for proposals will not receive necessarily financing from the bank. By selecting a project through this call of proposal, the bank is not committing to provide financing for the implementation of the project, but it's not, let's say, a possibility that is discarded. Projects that are selected will receive this technical assistance provided through consulting and engineering companies, and hopefully the design of the project will improve in such a way that their chances of receiving financing from the IDB or from any other financial institution in the region will be improved. This is the team working with IRENA on this initiative. We have colleagues here from the division where I work, the climate change division, and we have also colleagues from the energy division. I invite you to get in contact with any of us to submit any questions that you may have about this call for proposal, any ideas that you may want to discuss with us. We're open and willing to work with all project developers in the region to make sure that this call for proposal is a success, and also to make sure that the Sustainable Energy Marketplace by IRENA is also a success, and that it meets the goals and make the contributions we all expect it will make in this region. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Francisco, for the very interesting and thorough presentation of the call for proposals. As mentioned, now let me show you briefly how the marketplace works, how it looks like, and especially I would like to show you how to register your projects or other entities in the marketplace. So what you see here right now is the Latin American marketplace, hot off the press. As you can see, no projects entered yet. As mentioned by Chris, we will open this for users within some days, perhaps a week or so. But it already exists here, as you can see. I will also show you later, after the registration form, I will show you our Africa marketplace, which you see here. We have some volume already included, so I will show you how the marketplace looks from inside when there are some content in it. But here, let me now show how to register. When you arrive in the main page, which is this page you are seeing right now, you will see the login fields here in the top right corner of the page. If you are a registered user, you just log in. If you are not, you click here on the new user and start your registration process. So here, when you click new user, first thing that will appear is a very brief form asking some key information. Let's say I just use Aleksi as the name of the organization. Let's assume we are a private project developer. You can also register as financing entity, as I mentioned. You select from here, for example, private equity. You can register as a service provider, for example, a financial advisor, and also as a technology supplier. So as you can see, actually, if you have multiple businesses, you can actually have multiple user types here. But for the sake of limited time, let's only register as a project developer this time. So then you select the login for yourself and also enter your email address, to which you will receive all the information from the marketplace administrator. For example, the password. So then you just agree to the terms and conditions and click send. Now the system will send you a password. Oh, okay, these are taken already. So then we just have to recreate the new names. Here. So now the first step is done, and I have received an email from the system in my inbox containing the password. So from now on, I can log into the system by using this username, or alternatively the email address that I entered in the previous form, plus using the password that I just received. So now, as you can see, I'm registering as a project owner. I could still decide to register as multiple user type, but let's not do it this time. So now we start entering information. Year of establishment of the organization is mandatory information. Mandatory information is marked as with an asterisk. If there is no asterisk, that means that it's optional. You can leave it blank if you like. However, I will just put some numbers here. We require you to enter passport copy or similar document verifying your personality. So we just want to make sure that organizations and people we deal with are real and not fake people and not fake organizations. In the similar way, you need to enter or upload your business license if you're a company or other document proving the existence of your organization. These documents will not be distributed on the platform, so other users will not see this information, but it will be stored in the IRENA server, and it's only for our files, as I mentioned, to make sure that the people and organizations really exist. Then you will need to enter information, the contact information of your organization. Basic stuff. Then country of domicile. Here you can either select from a drop-down list opening here, or you can just start typing, for example, Chile, and it will suggest, it will find it from the list. Then we require you to enter at least one, you can have more, but at least one contact person for this profile. So IRENA wants to have an IDB at least one person. We can always contact if there is anything regarding this specific user or user profile. So that contact person has to be specified here. Chile. And if you don't like to share the personal contact information on the platform, you can select here to have it confidential. By clicking here, you will make sure that this personal level information is not seen by other users, but only by IRENA and IDB. Then there is a free text area for general description of your entity, which you have to enter. As you can see, this would be like 200, 300, 400 description of your business, for example, what you are doing, what is your background and track record. And without adding something here, you are not able to submit this form. Then facilitation needs. If your organization has any specific needs you want to highlight for us, you can write it here. For example, if you are looking for partners to expand or other things, you can write it, and it will be seen for IRENA, but not for other users in the marketplace. So that's also confidential information. If you have any brochures, presentations, other on your organization, you can upload it here, but we don't do it now. So now we have, I assume, entered the entity level information, so we can save it by clicking here in the top right corner of the page. Okay, email address is missing. So it will tell me that I haven't entered my personal contact, my personal email address. So let's try again. Now we have saved our entity profile. We can review and see that everything is as we want. If not, we can open it, edit here. But as you can see, we have not yet submitted it for approval. If we click here, it will say that you have not yet added any project because you are registering as project owner. You must add at least one project before you can submit your profile for registration. So we select here projects and add a project. And subsequently, a project registration form will open, which is separate from, it's linked to your entity profile, but it's a separate independent form. So first we have to enter the name for the project. We also want to or need to enter the country, location, so we can again start typing and it will sooner or later find it, or we can select from the list, drop-down list opening here. So Chile is the country of our project. Project technology, again, you can open here a list of project types to select from, or you can just start typing wind, and it will suggest its onshore wind power project. Capacity of our project, let's say we have a 10 megawatt project. Investment cost in millions of US dollars, 50 million, with annual generation of 30,000 megawatt hours. So then we also have to add capacity unit and also the generation unit, because some projects may generate, for example, heat or biofuels, so there are different units you can choose from. So here we have wind power, so it will be megawatts of electricity and megawatt hours of electricity. Then you select whether it's grid connected or off-grid or standalone project. So we have a grid connected wind power project, and ownership structure, it's a private project, let's assume, not public or not PPP project, all right? If we had, for example, CHP, combined heat and power, so we would have also heat capacity and heat generation, which we could enter here, but that's not the case in our wind power project, so we don't have to enter secondary power capacity. Then we move on to project status. We see some questions on land acquisition permits, feasibility studies, agreements, financing process, and we need to select from here whether this specific part of project development is still being planned, whether it's in process but still in an early stage, whether it's in process already in final stage, or whether it's already finalized. So let's assume that our land acquisition is already finalized. We have, for example, land lease contracts secured. Permitting, final stage, let's assume. Feasibility studies, we can also start typing. Let's assume we have them in an early stage. Agreements, perhaps in early stage. Financing process still being planned, not initiated yet. Then we need to enter the status of project. The alternatives are project idea, pre-feasibility, feasibility, financing, construction, or operation. So let's assume this is, I would say, a feasibility stage project. The intended construction start date would be in July next year. And this is not a very big project, so we assume that we are able to complete the construction and start operation by the end of the year. You can also select from calendar or just write as I showed you. Then we are ready with the project status description. Then there are some financial figures, indicators that you may enter. As you can see, as we understand that this information may be business sensitive to many developers, you might not be willing to enter the data. So you may select not to enter IRR or payback figures. But of course, if you enter, that will make your profile more attractive, and probably it will be viewed more than without this information. Then what takes a bit more time and requires some more information is the project summary. It's in 6 different sections. First, project objective, describing let's say the general description of the project, rationale, the ownership, the main stakeholders, etc. Then the location, a bit more detailed location, the physical location, the circumstances, etc., in what kind of terrain, whether it's close to any buildings, cities, etc. Then offtake arrangements, grid connection, you have to describe also socio-economic and environmental impacts, as well as current situation and planned activities. And as you can see, next to many of these headers, you will see these kind of help boxes. So there will be lots of help offered for you in the registration form, as you can see in many places, so that you can, for example, here, if you think whether my project permits are in early stage or final stage, you can check how we defined early stage or final stage, and the system will help you selecting always the right selection, or alternative in these lists, or help you to write right kind of stuff in the free text fields. Then you select the location of your project. So we have this our Conception wind power project here north of city of Concepcion. So we can actually zoom in as much as we can and want, and select it's here. So now we have selected location of the project, more detailed location. You can even use satellite view in order to locate your project in more detail if you want. Then you may enter project level contact information, but that's optional, and you don't have to do that. You have already entered the entity level if you think that's fine for you enough. Then what is required, again, a mandatory field is a financing plan. Let's say that our $50 million project will be financed by ourselves, controlling stake equity. Then $2 million we are looking from external investors, minority stake investor, and then the rest $10 million we are financing through senior debt. Then available financing, we have our own $3 million as we indicate here, and then we are looking for financing for construction. We are looking at the minority stake investor investing $2 million as we indicated in the financing plan above, and again for construction stage we are looking to finance $10 million through the senior debt as indicated in the financing plan. We can also select one or more services. We are looking for example, financial advisory services. Now that we're entering in financing arrangement, we also will need legal services. And then when you enter these things, what kind of financing and services you're looking for, investors and service providers will be able to see that you are looking for such services or financing, and they can easily find you and also offer their services or financing. You may also enter project level facilitation needs if you like. It's not mandatory, it's optional, and that information again will be visible only for IRENA if you enter anything here. So you may indicate to us an IDB if you want to have any facilitation from our side. So now I think we have entered all the information required in the project registration form. We click Save. Let's hope all is filled in. Yes. So now we have saved our project profile. We can again check that everything looks as it should. And yes, it is. But what you see here, you have not yet submitted your project, your profile for approval. So you need to go back to your entity profile here, and you will see the Submit for Approval button here. So now that you have entered your entity and you have entered at least one project as a project owner, now you can submit it for approval. When I click here, it will be registered as pending approval by the administrator. So now a message will be sent to administrator at IRENA. So we will know that there is a company called Aleksi1 registering as a project owner and having one project under my profile. So we will immediately go and review it and see whether the information is correct, complete, and consistent. Then we will approve, and then you will receive another email informing that your request has been approved. Thereafter, you're able to access the marketplace as a registered user by going to main page, as we see here, and entering your username or email plus the password you got in the beginning of registration process, and start using the marketplace. So now that we don't have yet any projects in the Latin American marketplace, I will just briefly show you how does it look in the Africa marketplace, which has been operational for a few weeks now. So as you can see, we have 16 projects registered at the moment with 130 megawatts roughly, more than $300 million total investment needs in these 16 projects. I will just quickly walk you through what we see here on the main page. So we see some about information about the Sustainable Energy Marketplace, about IRENA. On the Latin America marketplace, you will also see about IDB, who is our partner in the region. You will see information who can register and what are the benefits for users. Here we have links to media, news and events calendar, which we have also here. So basically you see always the 5 most recent news here. If you want to see more, you just click here or here, and you will be directed to our news page, where always 80 most recent renewable energy news will be listed from Africa. So we have linked this website to roughly 70 global magazines, online magazines in this field, and every time there is an article mentioning any African country and renewable energy, that article will be listed here in the news feed. And the same will happen also in the Latin American and Caribbean marketplaces with regard to news in that region. We also have events calendar, as you can see here, and the latest projects are always listed here. Then the market users will have their user profile here. Now that we are registered as marketplace administrator, we cannot access any user profile. But basically, if you click here, you will see the profile that you just saw that we just created in the Latin American marketplace. It's exactly the same view, and there you're able to review your own profile and, of course, edit it. For example, update if you have made progress with your project or other issues. Then the marketplace itself can be found here. So as you can see, we have several different searches. There is the general search. You can search for any kinds of projects, entities, financing instruments. You can see the preview of the profile here. Just see what you're looking for, if that is what you're looking for or no. You can apply more search filters. For example, I'm just looking for financial instruments or entities or projects, or then you can just type something here if you want to search by typing. Then probably the most used searches are project search and financing instrument searches. I will show them now in order to save time. I will not show you service, technology and organization searches, and I will also show you country search in the end of the demo. So here, an interesting search function, of course, is related to projects. So here we see the 16 projects that are currently registered in the marketplace. You can just start filtering this list by writing here free text format. For example, let's say solar, and it will list those projects that include the word solar. So you will see 2 solar projects, one hybrid project using solar, but also one biogas project. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it is a solar project. It means that in the project profile, solar is, or in the entity profile, solar is mentioned somewhere. For example, this company is selling solar power equipment in addition to developing a biogas project in Zimbabwe. But instead of writing, you can also use more refined search filters. So you have 10 different filters you can use. You can search according to project technologies, countries, project status, project ownership, grid connection, organization name, and then timing of the project, expected start of construction or operation, and then of course size parameters if you're looking larger or smaller projects. And then automatically when you apply any search criteria, the project list will be updated accordingly. Now we can see projects with less than 20 million investment volume. So here, if we still find something interesting, this I think is an interesting project. So we can go to this, or this one actually. So we can just click here either on the project name or the organization name. Let's go and see what is this project. It looks interesting. So it will lead us to the project profile, and we can check it's a small 1 megawatt hydropower project, approximately $4.5 million investment, generation, location, project status. So you see the project profile exactly the same as we created 10 minutes ago. So there you can see in more detail whether you're interested or not. And if you're interested, then you can contact the contact person. If you want to know more, you can go and click here on the entity. This is the company developing the project, so you will be directed to the project owner page. You can see who is the person, what is the company. You will see a general description of the company, etc. Now, as we are registered as marketplace administrator, we also see the passport copies and others, but these will not be visible to those who are registered as ordinary users, so don't be afraid of that. Okay, then we have, in a similar way, we have a financing instrument search, which you can use to look for financing. For example, if you want to find minority equity investors, you just apply search criteria here. If you have your project in Malawi and you are looking for investors in project development stage, you apply, and then you will just go and see who are meeting your investment criteria or the criteria that you are putting in. And then you see there are still 5 investors who can invest in the form of equity in this country, Malawi, in project development stage. And then again, you can go and see in more detail what is the instrument and what is the organization behind. Excuse me. Okay, I think we are online again. There was a small interruption in the internet connection. But yeah, let's continue. So just quickly show you the country profiles. So as Chris explained, we have created country profiles. We can, for example, go and see Kenya country profile, and you will find very easily tailored views for country information that IRENA is compiling and updating. On resource, and then Global Atlas is an interesting tool based on GIS, map-based system, a multi-layer tool where you can, for example, see where are good solar resources or wind resources in a given country, where the grids are located, where you have protected areas where you cannot develop projects, etc. So it helps project developers, for example, to identify good locations for projects. And then developers and investors can also go and see IEA, IRENA, policies and measures database. Just by clicking here, you will land on the Kenya country page of this database, and you will easily find all the relevant legislation and regulations on renewable energy in this specific country. So very easy to use, very quick to find information on countries. So this is basically how it works, what it is, and as I mentioned, now it's still operating in Africa, but within days or a week or two, it will open in Latin America, and you will get notification immediately when you can start registering. So this was the online demo of the system. I hope you will be able to register easily, and IRENA and IDB are there to help you hands-on if needed to create and complete your profiles, so don't hesitate to contact us in more detail if you want. So that's the demo of the platform, and finally I would like to address a few questions that you have presented during the webinar. There are actually a huge number of them. We will address all of them later, but I will just want to address a few which I think were presented by more than one participant, and which I think are quite crucial ones. Firstly, is there a cost of participation in this marketplace? No, it's free of charge. Anyone can register. If you are a project owner, investor, service or technology provider, you can register and there will be no fee. Secondly, projects often seem to be large projects in terms of several millions or millions at least. How about smaller projects? And also, for example, NGOs. There was a question whether NGOs can register their projects. Yes and yes. Small projects are most welcome to join the platform. The smallest project we have on Africa platform currently is $250,000, so pretty small projects can register. There is no lower limit, so feel free to register, also small projects. NGOs, as well as any other entities, whether you are a university. We have 2 universities developing projects in Africa and currently registering in the Africa marketplace, for example. So there is a point of entry for many types of entities. Thirdly, is the marketplace available only for projects in an early stage? Yes, and are there IRR requirements or PPA requirements related to this? Answer is that we welcome all kinds of projects to register in the marketplace, from early stage to very late stage. Even construction and operational stage projects can be registered in the marketplace. So all kinds of projects, or in all stages. Fourthly, how will financiers and investors register? So as you saw in the beginning of even if we only did the project owner registration, you can select to register as a financing entity as well, or service or technology provider, and there will be different forms for each user type, and depending on what you select in the beginning, you will see a bit different registration form. For investors, technology and service providers, the registration will be considerably easier compared to project owners. From project owners, we're asking more information than from other users. And then still one question I would like to address, business sensitive information. How about business sensitive information? Yeah, we understand this question very well. And first of all, we have tried to find the right balance between confidential and publicly available information, and I hope we have found a good balance between these. But then, in order to provide some flexibility, as I mentioned, we have defined some of the parameters optional, so you don't have to fill in everything that is contained in the registration form. For example, the financial parameters, as I explained. But we want to emphasize that the information that you put will be public for other users in the marketplace unless it's specifically mentioned that it will not be seen by other users. For example, as I mentioned, passport copies or other identification documents, business licenses, then the facilitation needs, as I mentioned, and also the contact, personal level contact information in case you selected that to be confidential information. Those will not be seen by others. Basically, everything else will be. So I think it's also up to you to enter the data in the form that you are not disclosing too business sensitive information. So these were the questions. I'm not sure if we still want to answer any more questions. Okay, sorry, I think we will not have time for further questions anymore, so we will close here. We are seeing lots of additional questions and we will address them after the webinar, and during next week you will receive an email containing a link to this webinar and also a document containing all the questions we received with answers to these questions. And as I mentioned, you will also be notified immediately when this platform will be open for registrations. So at this stage, I would like to thank you all and wish you a good day in Latin America, I assume, where most of you are located at the moment. Greetings from Abu Dhabi, and I declare this session closed. Thank you.